For one thing, I'm transgender, which means I was born male but identify as female.
Yeah.
I've been that way most of my life. I was born in New York, traveled around a lot, spent 20 years in Mississippi and came back out here to get everything that I need done to be more like a real female.
Yeah. That sounds like it's a really hard, decision to make.
No, it wasn't that hard. It was kind of easy.
Yeah. How long was it before you actually made the change that you decided? If you don't mind me asking.
Actually, I knew something was different when I was a little kid because I always, instead of playing with things that boys would play with, I always played with things that girls would play with, like dolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's been all my life, but within the past year and a half is when I've actually got to do what I need to do for myself.
Yeah.
Instead of doing things for
other people.
Other people. And listening to other people saying, oh no, because you were born one way, you can't be the other way.
Yeah.
But most people are not in my situation, so they don't really, I guess I'd say, understand how you could actually be born one way and really feel that you're supposed to be the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's important not to, you can only listen to people so much if they don't know what it's like, Yeah, that's tough. So.
Yeah, it was tough, but like right now, I don't worry about what other people say. I do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
If they don't like me, oh well.
Yeah. That's great. I'm really happy to hear that though. That now you're kind of just living for yourself, Yeah. So, if you don't mind me asking, so how long have you been homeless?
Off and on since I was about 11 and a half.
And how old are you now?
55.
It's been your whole life, pretty much.
I mean, there's been times that I've had places to live that I bought and paid for and all that, and this is not really what I want.
No, it's not.
I'm used to being free and being able to do what I want, when I want, without somebody telling me, no, you can't, or you gotta do it this way. It's like, nah, I'm doing it my way, and I don't care if people like it or not.
You have freedom now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close the window really quick.
Yeah, okay.
And then, do you have any memories from before you were homeless?
Like I said, I've had my own places that I've bought and paid for, lived in them, paid all the bills and everything. But I feel more comfortable, I guess you would say, being outdoors to help everybody else out.
Yeah. You're not as isolated on your own.
Right. I can relate when somebody turns around and says, oh, I've been homeless for this long and I've been through this and that, and it's like, Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get it now, you know? Whereas if you have, I guess, your own place, you think you wouldn't be able to relate to these people?
No, I still did relate to them. It's just that a lot of them didn't like the fact that I actually was able to go back somewhere that it was called mine and could sleep without being made to move or told, oh no, you can't sleep there, or you got to go over this place to go try to get in and stuff like that.
Now that you're really completely out there with everyone, you now have that sense of like community with them, you know?
I had it when I even had my own place.
Yeah.
You just have to remember that if you've been homeless and you get a place, never forget you can always fall back down.
Yeah.
But I've never fallen back down. I just prefer to stay at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because that way it's easier to help other people that are down. Most people look at you, if you have a place, that you're just doing it because you feel the need to do it. I do it because I want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't really act like I'm too good for anybody.
Yeah.
I sit and listen to people and try to help them with things and stuff like that. And it's the easy way to do it.
Yeah. So do you see yourself still here in San Jose a year from now, in the same area?
Most likely. Because I still have other things I gotta do to make myself right.
Oh,
I gotta go, when I get the appointment, I have to go have facial surgery. And then probably, hopefully by next year I'll be able to get gender reassignment surgery. But I know things take time, so I gotta.
yeah. Have you had any surgery yet?
I've had top surgery. And I was the first one to have it done at Valley Medical.
Do you know other homeless people who are going through the same kind of surgery?
There's some that are gonna go through it, and then there's some that really don't want to go through it. It's an individual's choice if they want to go through all the surgeries or not.
Yeah.
You just have to accept the person as they are.
But you decided for sure that doing the surgery is the way that you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most of my life, when I wasn't working, I'd go and be a female when I wasn't working. When I was working, I had to be a male, which didn't suit me too good.
Like, what about it didn't suit you? Like,
That even if I was a female, I still could have done the same jobs.
yeah.
Without anybody trying to turn around and say, oh, because you're a female, oh, you can't do that. No.
What kind What kind of jobs did you work?
I did restaurant work. I did construction, automotive. I've done what else have I done? Clean up for an oil spill.
That sounds like a really crazy one.
Well, actually, it wasn't that crazy because when I went and did the 40-hour class, me and one other person were the only two that actually got every question on the test right. And I beat them by 5 minutes of being done with the test, so I actually got to be a supervisor.
Oh, wow.
So I had control over 6 different crews. There was like 20 different people on each crew. Be in charge of loading and unloading a barge with the equipment that we needed. Refueling the UTVs they were using. What else I do?
A lot of different responsibilities.
Yeah, it's basically most of the jobs I've ever had. I've always been
You've always been like a leader.
Yeah,
you know, you've
a
had to
supervisor.
take charge. You know.
Yeah, a supervisor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah.
I guess it's really easy for me to go somewheres and within a few hours or a few days just start taking over.
Yeah. It just comes to you.
It's natural.
You're just a natural leader. Yeah.
That's kind of what I've done here.
Yeah. As I can tell with the way that you're setting everything up, you just take charge and it's get it done. Yeah.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no, I'm not afraid to get dirty either.
Yeah.
Most females would go, "Ooh, I don't want to do that." No. I mean, being a mechanic, you get dirty.
Yeah. You've been a mechanic.
Yeah. I could turn around and take the top end of a motor apart in 4 hours by hand, using hand tools. I mean, the mechanic I did work for, I only did that like when I had free time.
Yeah.
Work for them, but I mean, he had somebody that was there that he was paying to do work, but for them to do the top end of a motor would have took him a day and a half.
Wow. And you got it done in a few hours.
4 hours.
It's impressive.
By hand with my own tools.
Wow. I really, that's some respectable, confidence there. It's always on top of it. That's awesome.
I mean, back when I learned how to drive, you had to learn how to change a tire.
Yeah.
Now nobody knows how to do it.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to change a tire. I've never had to do that. Yeah.
I made the mechanic sick one time because I needed to change one of my tires on a vehicle, and I had a 3.5 ton floor jack, a 4-way lug wrench, and by the time he got the impact wrench out there with the hose, I was already done.
Wow. Crazy. Oh, so good.
And he's like, I don't.
I don't know. It's just too good. Awesome. Yeah, wait, just a second. Let me adjust this really quick, and then. So you've always been a very hard worker, very productive person. Yeah.
But because I did all that stuff and overextended myself,
You burned out.
I put a lot of physical and mental and emotional strain on my body. So it makes it where I can't really truly go and work to make money.
Yeah.
It's alright. Eventually I'll get SSI or SSDI and won't have to worry about it no more.
Are you worried about, the time until then?
No.
I think people here take pretty good care of each other.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you come across to them.
Yeah. Just people still give you a lot of problems for being trans now.
Leave it to San Jose.
Classic San Jose. Oh man. You've always been in San Jose?
This is like the third time I've lived out here.
Where else have you lived?
I've been to 48 out of the 50 states.
Oh. Wow. So do you have a car, or are you just going with people?
I've drove across the country. I've hitchhiked across the country. I've rode a bicycle across the country.
Wow, that's freedom. You got it. Oh man, do you have any crazy stories from your bike rides?
It took me 3 months to go from out here all the way to Orlando, Florida.
Really? Yeah. Where'd you stay?
Let's say one night I slept in Yosemite Park. And I think the next night after that, I think I slept under a bridge. Another time I slept in an empty, dilapidated barn that was about to fall down.
I love it. Do the police ever give you problems?
No.
No, you haven't had any bad encounters like out
Not
in the
out
street?
here.
No, people are pretty good about it. Yeah.
Now, when I lived in Mississippi, I got harassed a lot.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't like my kind of Mississippi.
No.
Now they don't care.
The South, though, you know,
what
you
I'm
gotta.
saying? Now they don't care. Because last year was the first year they had a gay pride in Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It took about a year because I left out of Mississippi in 2017. And they had gay pride 2018.
Wow. Of course it has to happen like that, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Always. Push people out and then all of a sudden you break down and do it anyways.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Man, it's all right.
But people here have been pretty good about you being trans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the church itself is LGBTQ. Plus normal people, but they take college students, and it doesn't matter who you are. They'll help you out.
Yeah.
It's not really hard to kind of really take and put yourself in somebody else's situation and understand what they're saying before you say, no, I can't help. You have to understand how most homeless people are. They don't really take no for an answer. They'd rather have somebody kind of find a way to help them. And then the homeless person has to want the help. If they don't want the help, then you're just sitting there wasting your time trying to help them.
Most people you see around here that are homeless, do you feel like they've been here for a while?
Some of them are homeless because they want to be homeless.
You wouldn't say that that's you?
No.
No.
I do it because it's my way to help everybody.
You're giving back to everyone?
Yeah. Whether I have anything or not, I give them knowledge too, so, I mean...
You have a lot to give them, I'm sure.
I've had times I've given people vehicles.
Really? Yeah.
I've got, it's actually, my name's not on the paperwork, but I started a organization to help disadvantaged families find a place to live, and within 3 to 5 years they own a home, and within the same amount of time they'll own a vehicle. And that's in all 48 states.
Wow.
I mean, work is nothing. I mean, when I started that, I started it with 10 grand. And then I got a lawyer and a realty company and a used car lot to just start helping me out. And I mean, then once it started getting better, working on its own, making its own money, there are some places that needed to have repairs done to it, so I was like, okay, well, have another 10 grand. And then each time the families get the house, whatever money they've paid towards that house goes to buy more houses and more vehicles. Plus try to keep the places up and the bills. But once they reach the amount that's been set for them to reach to be able to own it, then they have to worry about the bills and the upkeep and things like that. But I mean, it's not that hard for people to find a job.
No. Are you working now? No, you can't.
I can't.
Too hard.
I got too much wrong.
Yeah.
That's why it's easier to just volunteer.
So now, like, you usually just spend your time trying to help out other homeless people?
Yeah. I turn around and help clean this place up during the day. Let people in and out to take showers. Give people food if they need it during the day. Basically, I more or less get left alone to
do whatever you want.
Yeah, as long as it's nothing illegal.
Yeah. That's right. You're usually around here all day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, what do you think is the biggest reason why you see a lot of people here being homeless? Like you said that a lot of it is a choice. Like, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that. Like,
a lot of it is by choice because some of them either drink or do drugs. And whatever money they make, they just spend it on that.
Yeah, the first guy I met in here was drunk. Yeah. Yeah.
And come tomorrow morning, you won't remember it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a sad thing.
Don't you think that a lot of it is because of, I guess, how they grew up or where they come from? Or do you think a lot of it is just purely personal choice?
Some might be because they might have been abused when they were younger, and it's their way of keeping the bad memories away.
Yeah.
But it comes back and gets you twice as hard in the end.
Yeah.
You have to forgive whoever did something bad to you when you were a kid and let it go and be more understanding of, well, okay, well, I got abused, and if I have a child, do I want to abuse it? And if you say you don't want to abuse a child, then you break the cycle.
You break the cycle.
And it can be done.
Yeah.
And that's from experience.
Do you think a lot of this has to do with, mental health issues?
Some because of, some of it is because of that, because they've drank so long they can't really comprehend and understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them just want to be that way so they don't have to cope with anything.
They just gave up on themselves.
Yeah.
It's just...
And basically they gave up. They're just waiting to either take the last drink or whatever drug they're doing, and it takes them away.
Yeah.
And most of them don't realize they can stop and start to make themselves better.
Yeah. What do you think is the best way to help someone who's in that spiral,
Usually if you're going to try to help somebody that's either in drugs or the drinking, you can try to talk to them, but in a way that is not demanding that they stop.
Yeah.
You have to turn around and kind of say, well, let me know when you get to that point where you're at the bottom and you can't go no further and you want the help to get started to climb out the hole that you dug.
You gotta let it be their choice.
Right.
Because that's important for their self-esteem, right?
You have to let them think that they're the one that came up with the idea of, okay, I've hit rock bottom, I can't go no more, but I have a lot to live for, so somebody come help me figure out the right way to go to get to where I can do what I have to do. It's hard to start with, but
you gotta be very careful with how you do it.
You have to give hints and suggestions and let them figure it out and go, oh yeah, I need to. You make it sound like it's their idea or their way to do it.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of it is all about, self-esteem. And like, for example, like that's why I think places like Goodwill, require people to, pay for their clothes, because it helps you feel like
and Goodwill does, but if you're really, really desperate, you can actually talk to a case worker there and they'll let you go get a few items. Same thing with Salvation Army. There's a lot of like Hope Thrift Store, you probably can do that with too. Plus we also have, out here we have Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart,
which you can go sign up and you get a card and you can get some clothes, you can get some food. I mean, it's not like there's no place to go get things for really nothing. So I mean, it's not that hard to get what you really need to survive. Sacred Heart will even turn around and do it twice a year, where they give away survival kits.
What's a survival kit?
It has a tarp in it. It's like some socks, underclothes. You get some hygiene stuff, and you get a little bit of food. It's like extra to help in case there's like bad weather or something like that.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of people who just don't even get themselves these things, right?
And they get them, but then they turn around and trade them for their drugs or their alcohol.
Do you know anyone that's passed away from, not taking care of themselves and drugs and alcohol?
Personally, not offhand, no.
No. So I just want to ask like one last, thing. So like what do you think is probably the biggest thing that people don't really understand about being homeless or homeless people? Do you think that there's some way that you're misunderstood?
A lot of times, some homeless people are misunderstood because the people that figure that they work and they pay taxes and stuff like that shouldn't have to go out of their way to be subject to being around anybody that's homeless. They think they're too good for it.
They're too good to be homeless.
What they all don't realize is that they could be 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless themselves.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure people how quickly do you see people become homeless?
Oh yeah, there's
Very
a lot
quickly.
of them now that have become homeless because landlords are trying to say, well, I want my rent. And
And they're just done.
They don't get it.
You see people who have, do you think more people have become homeless recently because of COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you think is like the hardest thing that people usually struggle with, like once they become homeless?
Most of them would have to struggle with trying to keep their valuables from getting misplaced or stolen or not being able to get them.
Yeah.
And some people, yeah, they might be able to pay for a storage unit for a few months, but then all of a sudden they lose everything because they can't pay the bill. And I mean, it's hard for some people to understand that at any given time, anyone could become homeless.
Anyone can be.
Yeah.
Like, I could be homeless next month, tomorrow, I don't know.
You could walk out of here and get a phone call and say, well,
Yeah.
you're out. And there's not much you could do about it.
Yeah. Do you think you became homeless very quickly? Because it was back and forth for you, right?
Personally, I put myself homeless at 11 and a half. I had no choice. Because it was kind of hard to try to explain to parents, like, yeah, the paperwork says male, but males don't bleed once a month. That's why I put myself homeless, because...
You had to.
Yeah.
Your family hasn't reached out to you since?
No.
Once you told them, that was it?
Technically, I've been the black sheep of my family all my life, so...
Nothing new.
And ain't no big shock if nobody in the family wants to talk to me. I don't care.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Something you deal with.
Yeah. Do you want to see them again? Not really.
No.
Whatever.
The question is, do they want to try to find me?
Yeah, because you're good without them now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they did try to find me, they'd be looking for a different person, not me.
Really? They don't know that you started going through the changes. Wow. Yeah. No.
I don't even think they'd understand either. That's what happens when you have a big family and they don't really care about you. You do what you gotta do to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, is there any... Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you talking to me about this stuff. I really appreciate this. Yeah.
It's no problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I'm glad to hear you're definitely like finding your way and everything's, the community here is really taking good care of each other, and if there's anything I can do to, you know, be more a part of it and help out, like, let me know.
I mean, the only way people are going to understand anything about homeless is for them to maybe be homeless for at least a month.
Otherwise, there's no way to know, huh?
Right. In other words, don't let them have access to their money, their credit cards, their home to live in. Don't let them have their vehicle. Let them struggle to learn how it is to be homeless.
Do you think that being homeless makes you a better person in any way?
For some, yes, and then for others, no.
Yeah.
The ones that know how to go and work every day and make money and not spend it on things they don't need, then yeah, they'll get somewhere. Might take them a little while, but they'll get somewhere.
But at the end of the day, you believe it really all is about choices.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It depends on each individual's choice on whether they want to better themselves or not.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that want to better themselves, they'll go out of their way to try to find ways to be able to save money a lot and go get somewhere to live.
They'll figure it out. Yeah.
There's some people that'll save enough money to go buy a used RV and call that home for a while.
Yeah.
Then there's some people that go buy a van and call that home. And this is something more than just being out on the street and dealing with all kinds of weather and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to me here today.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate this, and I think people are going to really appreciate hearing this as well, and it really helps people understand, what's going on. I know you said you can't really know unless you're homeless, but I think it's worth, anything to...
No, yeah. I mean, I know there's been a lot of people that have tried to get the point across about being homeless, and
Yeah.
you have to let people absorb it in their own way and think about it before they say an answer. There's some people that go, oh, there's another story about a homeless person. Nope.
Yeah.
That's not how you do it.
Yeah. What do you think's the best way to really talk about homelessness to people who aren't homeless and don't know what it's about and what it's like?
You basically have to try to explain to them that, yes, I might be homeless now, but I was like you all at one time. And if they don't understand what that means, then you'd have to explain to them that, yeah, I used to have my own place, I did pay all my bills and all that, but when something happens that you have no control over, that puts you right out the door.
It's just so fast. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when, after Hurricane Katrina, I didn't think I was going to be able to go back to work. And then all of a sudden I did go back to work, but it took about almost 2 years before I did go back to work. But I mean, that was 2 years I could have been with my family, could have been out on the street. But no, I wasn't, because I had things I could kind of go do to make a little bit of money to be able to keep the bill collectors off the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome.